Hi everyone, it's Kathleen. I am here today to share with you the progress of my vintage textile collage on wool blanket. I've done quite a bit of hand sewing, blind stitching, invisible stitching of various little vintage pieces that I have added to this. And I have done so much invisible stitching that it's time I would like to start using these. These are only acrylic yarns, but I would like to start doing some straight stitching. There's not going to be too much straight stitching on my blanket because I love fancy embroidery stitches and I am going to be practicing all different kinds. These two boxes here have tiny lengths of different crocheted trims, and there's lots of different kinds on here. So I'm going to be picking out little bits of these crocheted trims, and these are either flowers or cut up bits from tablecloths. Some are flowers already, some I'm going to make into flowers and do specialty stitches on. But I want to do a rundown of what oh gosh, if I put that on the floor, that's going to be a mistake. Sorry, we have to do this. Okay, I'm just going to put these guys to the side. And one more time, I gotta take this over there, and I wanted to show you the edgings that I've done. I've added some feed sack yo-yos. I've added little trims along the top, different embroidery bits. I'm going to do one side only because it's too big to put on the table. This is the center part that I've hand stitched down already. I like the end. I like how I added these Suffolk puffs, and I'm going to be doing fancy stitching around the Suffolk puffs. I took out the pink embroidery on the cross stitch piece, and I have sewn beautiful baby christening dress down the length here. I'm gonna pull it up. Okay, that's just one side of the christening dress is over here. It's cotton, it's very thin, very fragile, and a slip of the doll clothing underneath. It just extends that baby dress. I've added 2 Suffolk puffs. I love how the feed sack Suffolk puffs look. All sorts of, okay, so in the center, I've added the 3 Suffolk puffs. That's the fancy stitching that I'll be doing on my blanket. 3 more Suffolk puffs, but let's look at the bottom. We've got that end of the baby dress. So everyone's quilt, if you make one, a blanket, I call it a quilt, but it's vintage fabrics or vintage pieces, textiles on a wool blanket. I love how the Suffolk puffs are going to be stitched, and I'm going to have more lace bits flowing from here. I'm going to keep the roses and Fleur Wood style paint the roses. Then I will do my fancy vintage embroidery all over this wool blanket. And my videos that I will do, it'll say the name of the stitch, and then I'll do it on the blanket. So you can do these stitches on any snippet, on any embroidery bit that you are doing. So this is just massive and absolutely stunning. So I'm going to be working on it full time until I get progress done. But right now I'm getting a little bit bored of hand stitching or basting. Well, no, basting, you remove the stitching. I'm not removing it. I'm blind stitching. So invisible stitching. Okay, this is the right hand side. This was so hard on my fingers to sew through. This must be a newer piece because older fabrics are easier, so much easier to stitch through. The newer ones are not. Love the Suffolk puffs, the half doilies. That's the bottom part of the doll slip. Then we have the baby christening dress or baby dress that's added up here. Edging. I love this running stitch. That's what I'm going to use, those bright orange, red, orange, and the variegated yellow orange to do some stitching around things, and then I'll merge them. So I like Battenberg, so this is beige Battenberg. We have another doily, a crochet doily. How am I going to hold this? And love these Suffolk puffs. Stitching around the Suffolk puffs with a couple layers of those 3 wools that I showed you. Well, they're actually acrylic yarns, 3 yarns. And this is the top. I've added the vintage lace bits from the linen tablecloth. I extended lace. It's cotton lace. Everything is cotton. And a quarter of a hanky, quarter of a placemat, but that's a Battenberg. Love this. When you stand back, this is the top center. Top center, and I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. You can't see the sides because my table, it's big, but the blanket's bigger. So I love how the little pieces extend beyond. The vintage pieces extend beyond onto the beyond the tablecloth onto the wool fabric. So now it's a matter of adding some stitches. Because I pulled out all those little crocheted bits, they're going to be added. They're going to be merging off. I just moved my hand and you can't even see what I'm doing. They're going to be merging off the Suffolk puffs, merging off of the Battenberg onto the linen tablecloth. So right now, I just have to show you this. These are beautiful. I just love these colors. This is my favorite part of the doily. So I'm going to be doing fancy embroidery stitches. They're going to be like this. Ouch. Making flowers throughout the blanket. This will be like a very large sampler. Lots and lots and lots of stitches on it. I'm going to share the stitches that I'm going to be doing. Stitches have been around for hundreds of years. So it's just a matter of showing you how I am doing it. I'm recording the process of my blanket for a playlist so I can have it on my YouTube channel for me to look at a later date. So just wanted to show you the progress of laying down the little bits. The next step I'm going to do is around my Suffolk puffs. I'm going to take yarn. I'll show you in my next video how I stitch around the Suffolk puffs. I'm going to do 3 running stitch layers all the way around all of the Suffolk puffs. So it'll be one area. This will be another area. I'm going to go around with those 3 colors of yarn in running stitches around here. These. So all of the Suffolk puffs, I'm going to be going a running stitch all the way around, and then I'll come back and I'll show you what I have done. Thank you everyone for watching. Bye for now.